Hello, everybody, all over the world. Hello. Been a while since we've done one of these intros. I'm HiGPS. I've been in the TF2 community for a while, and my Discord community found a video titled Fixing TF2's Terrible Weapons that they wanted me to react to, which I am going to do. But in case you're a new viewer and you don't know who I am or what I do, here's a quick little rundown. Oops, that's the wrong one. So, if you look at this document, this is like the unlocked tier list post Jungle Inferno update, right? So how long have I been in the balance game? Because as you can see, I have my own balance mod, which I think unbiasedly is the best mod because I made it, along with my community, of course. But how long have I been in the balance game and the TF2 in general? Well, I've been around since 2007, played Team Fortress Classic before that. This balance document was created 17th of July 2015, and at that point I had been doing the HiGPS show, which was like a weekly, sometimes 2 times a week show where we just reviewed weapons using the replay system, which was awful. And and then I've been to Valve. We talked about balance. They've also implemented a lot of our changes, like from this sheet. You can see there's a lot of like stuff here, graphs and everything. Not really that interesting, but this is what eventually turned into this, like a balance mod and stuff like that. So the balance mod, came into fruition like in the first video we have is like 5 years ago. So it's like 2018. So a couple of years after this spreadsheet was made, which was basically just ideas, right? Because that's generally how it starts. Someone has an idea and be like, I have this idea. I'm going to write it down. And I hope someone makes it for me. Then also, there's been a lot of balance mods. I don't know who was first. I'm not sure who was, but there's a bunch of balance mods here. Which one's good? Mine's good. But I don't have enough information on others to really give an opinion because my time is limited as an adult and I don't have, the student luxury of just having infinite amount of time to devote to making like SFM shorts and all that kind of stuff. So that's basically it for that. Then this video was suggested to me, which I'm going to be reacting to. I'm going to be not going to be looking at all of it. I'll just be picking out some parts and then a comment on that.
Fans out there, you're gonna fucking hate this video. Now some people might—
Oh my god! Text on the screen that lines up with what you're saying? Fucking, I hate that. I hate that. I'm like an old man. It's like, text that you are watching right now. Bop, 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 bop. Right? Like I can do it in post, just like he did. And the young kids are like, that's really interesting. That has my engagement. I'm gonna keep watching because words popped up on my screen. Anyway.
You see, most weapons in TF2 are extremely well balanced. There are, however, still a handful of useless weapons that nobody uses and need to be buffed.
So this selection here, I very much agree. All right, so I figured out how to remove and add myself back in, right? So we have these weapons pretty much universally agreed on that, they need to be changed because they're kind of bad, right?
As well as a few legitimately overpowered weapons that desperately need a good nerf. And there's also a couple of oddball, annoying weapons that aren't even technically good but just suck to play against and need to be completely rethought. It slows down anybody you hit with it, which is really frustrating to play against, so I changed it so that instead of slowing down your enemies, it speeds you up.
Alright, so the whole notion of like, what do you say?
For example, the Natasha is not even a very good weapon, but people still use it for the sheer psychological damage it deals when you have to fight against this thing.
So saying it's not a really good weapon when it just turbo deletes scouts in a teamwork session isn't really representative of like the weapon, because like you make the fast class slow and then your teammates fucking destroy them, right? So that's not really a good way to say it, I would guess. Yeah, so it is frustrating because in TF2 they have like this very good or had this very good philosophy that they followed until they added unlocks. And that was like, the only way for you to manipulate your enemies is to either body block them or push them away with damage. You couldn't slow and you couldn't pull them towards you, and there was no way you could manipulate any of the resources. It was just like body block and push away with damage, which is fair because you have some deal of control of that.
Heavy's
Yeah.
walk speed while revved up with the Natasha is now the same as his normal walk speed.
Okay, that is a bit crazy because like the whole idea of the Heavy is that he is slow, right? So we do have this in the balance mod. We do have the Natasha that speeds you up when you hit somebody, and it's also a tiny speed boost when you're revved up, right? So that creates like you only get the speed boost if you're shooting someone, and then it doesn't last very long, and then you can do like some tech on slopes and stuff. We have that in the balance mod. You can check it out later. Links in the description. But I think like just making it as fast as you are normally doesn't really make a lot of sense because you have the shotgun and you're kind of like negating the shotgun's purpose because that's what you do with the shotgun. You run with the Heavy and you do a surprising amount of damage. Shotgun Heavy has been viable since forever. And then Uncle Dane makes a video and be like, hey, Shotgun Heavy is good. And people are like, oh, how did we not know this? When I have like many videos on how to be good with like shotgun and also like the Fists of Steel combination entitled Family of Fists. Go check out that video. It's also pretty ridiculous. But yeah, I think like this sort of change, I think my change is better because it's just not flat out running. Like you would never spin down.
However, he still can't jump or switch weapons quickly, so there is still some incentive to not be revved up all the time.
I mean, why would I need to jump if I could just run down my enemies and kill them? Which is like infinite instant damage that like I don't even have to worry about the damage reduction that I have when when you come from aren't spinning up until you spin up your gun. There's like this little time window where you do a lot of reduced damage. That's just gone. You just have full damage forever. So this is, the closer you are to an enemy, the more damage you do. So a speed buff like this is fucking insane because you will do more damage than the Brass Beast effectively.
This weapon is great when you're already revved up, but since it takes so long to rev up, it makes repositioning pretty dangerous. If you need some ammo or a health pack, you better have a shotgun handy because the Brass Beast is just too slow to protect you while you're walking from point A to point B. To help with this, I simply doubled the minigun's ammo capacity. The weapon that makes it hard to reposition safely now gives you some extra time before you need to reposition. Buff.
I don't think this actually does anything. The problem with the Brass Beast is that you are so slow that you just get focused, fired down, and die. So you having double the ammo doesn't mean anything. Right? What did we do in the balance mod? Let's go take a look. All right, so here we have the Natasha change. You can see that like originally. So for the Natasha, like you mentioned before, you can see that like it's 5% faster move speed while deployed, and then you get a speed boost on hit, which is very minor, so it's like slightly faster. But let's look at the original Brass Beast. Ours. So you can see like the slower spin up time. Like the problem is how long you spend spinning up, right? And how slow you become. So you are you spin up slightly faster, and you are not as slow, right? So it's a little bit faster, and you're not as slow. And some people wanted critical resistance with 12%, so we added that to make up for like the all damage resistance. It's only critical damage. Yeah. So doubling the ammo while still having like slow ass everything isn't really gonna change anything.
The Rings of Fire are a great gimmick, but losing 4 ammo a second to produce them is a mighty price to pay. And
yeah, so I'm surprised they didn't mention this, but normal minigun, you have 20 seconds of firing speed before you're out. With the Huolong Heater, you have 13 seconds of effective fire time. That's 7 seconds less of damage that you can do as a Heavy, which is a lot.
At mid-range, the damage bonus is nice, but it's not worth coordinating with your team's pyro just for that 12.5% more damage. It feels like a normal minigun with less ammo. It's a little less damage most of the time and a little more damage sometimes. I decided to increase the damage penalty to minus 25% so it's harder to fight non-burning players, and instead of doing 25% more damage to burning players, it does 33% more damage in the form of mini crits, which end up turning into the normal minigun damage when combined with that minus 25% damage penalty because of math. But since I haven't actually used these weapons in an actual match before, I'd love for you guys to play on the server yourself and tell me what you think. Buffed.
All right, so it's a lot of the same concerns that I have with mine, with my stuff, right? So the damage you get, or the damage bonus you do, isn't really telegraphed well. So making it do mini crits is fine. Also, what he doesn't mention is that enemies being on fire as a heavy is something you have extremely very little control over. Even if you have a pyro and he's just like scorch shot spamming the enemies, if they have a pyro, they can just be extinguished continuously and you can't really do anything. So while doing mini crits and stuff is fine, I think like it just doing the normal minigun damage from any range isn't enough to really warrant it, because it depends on this factor that you have no control over, right? So what we did is that we instead of 25% damage, we made it mini crit, and then we reduced the damage penalty. So the way when I did this math, I trust myself when I did this, this will do around the same damage as the Brass Beast, but it requires players to be on fire and you have less ammo. So combined with you can't shoot as much, and then it's better than the Brass Beast, which doesn't require any input from you to just be better, right? The Brass Beast is just more damage always. So I think that's a better approach. And also when you do mini crits, I'm not sure if it showed in the video, but people in the fire ring take mini crits, so like just fucking melt. Right, so it's even better up close with the gimmick. Yeah, it's sort of the same, so I can understand
now for
this.
Some sandwiches. The buffalo steak sandwich is now eaten twice as fast and deploys and holsters a good bit faster too, allowing for high damage melee heavy to be less of a premeditated gimmick and more of a spur of the moment plot twist during a team fight. Buffed.
Yeah, so this is pretty much exactly what we have, except that we have an ability where you can cancel it. Because being locked to melee and not being able to change in certain situations can be pretty bad compared to like how good the other unlocks are. So yeah, eating faster is definitely something that's not unique to the balanced mod. It seems like other people are also coming to this conclusion. So it would be cool can't even talk. It would be cool to see if Valve does like what StarCraft has done, and you have like this balance council and you balance the game from the community. I hope I get a main seat there if that thing's ever going to happen. Wink, wink. Yeah.
And the Locust bar is now eaten 4 times faster and deploys and holsters significantly.
Did you see how little that healed? It's like, yeah, he does like 1 nom, and then you're supposed to heal like 150 from this, right? So if you're a new player, and of course you don't read stats, and you play on the server, and you're like, I'm going to use the Lucas bar, I'm going to get like 150 overheal, and then you just get 50.
Significantly faster, making it more of a mid-battle snack rather than a full-course meal.
I think this is just an oversight, though.
I've always thought it was the weakest sandwich.
So what you have to do here is increase the amount of healing this thing does in the stats, because the way the Lucas bar works is that it has like a sandwich has like a timer where it refills your health, right? A sandwich heals more than 300, which is like you have a heavy and you take damage while eating, you will most likely always get back to 300 or close to 300. So here he just kind of forgot to offset that, which we did, except that we made it so you don't eat as fast. What did we do? You eat the 40% faster, and yeah, this is 100% faster. So yeah, and it's 100 health, not 150. Sorry, my bad.
So if you're using a medic on your team, which you should be, it kind of becomes useless. This new design will allow Heavy to take multiple bites pretty much back to back and will
Quick Fix Medic says hello.
The Big Business, previously known as the Family Business. What once was a slightly different shotgun side grade is now a complete and total death machine on par with Heavy's miniguns. It still has 7 shots in the clip, but instead of boringly just firing a little faster and doing a little less damage, it gives Heavy a speed boost anytime he hits an enemy with the thing. And if he eliminates the enemy entirely, they'll drop a small health pack that Heavy can swoop in and grab with his speed boost. Fat Scout has arrived. Tell your friends. Now, obviously this is a direct upgrade from the normal shotgun so far, and it is a direct upgrade to the normal shotgun, until you switch to your minigun and realize that 75% of your ammo is gone, permanently, which means no spam fire, no busting up sentries, and 75% less ammo from all ammo packs and dispensers. You've really got to use your minigun sparingly, if at all, if you're gonna run the big business. Buffed.
So I think this is kind of like breaking with Heavy's sort of design, right? With like, he's supposed to be slow, stop giving him speed boost. Like, you already have the eviction notice, which gives speed boost on hit, which is a melee weapon. And then like in this mod, you've also given Heavy more speed while revved up. And in the balance mod, we have, you know, speed boost on hit, but it lasts so short that you can't actually switch to any meaningful weapon to get really anything out of it. So you're kind of locked to the speed to the minigun. And you already do less damage. So it's like you will never do more damage. You will just be taking less damage in form of mobility and like not taking a lot of splash damage, right? So this doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. And also I wonder why 50 max ammo? Like, what can you do with 50 max ammo? I've never done the math on that because Heavy always has 200. Like, you don't want to gimp your main weapons. Like, that's why we remove, like in the balance mod, we remove the weapons that reduce your primary ammo because I don't think that weapons should affect other weapons negatively. They should only affect them positively, right? When you're doing a balance, you don't want to make something worse because you're using something else. That doesn't really make a lot of sense to me when it comes to design, right? And also, like, the drop on health pack, the Heavy already has heal, and there's enough heal in the game. He has the most health. There are health packs on the map. There are medics and dispenser. You don't need this. And, like, you can play Heavy with shotgun, no problem. You don't need this. And then you have a minigun as a backup, too. What if I wanted to use the Family Business as is right now? Because the Family Business is just as good, if not better, than the shotgun sometimes, you know?
It's time to nerf the sniper. All sniper rifles have their primary ammo capacity cut in half.
Exactly like we have. Because that makes sniper need to manage their ammo, and their effective shooting time is reduced in half, but more than that because of rounding and shit. Good change.
And now fire tracer rounds.
That's the Machina round. You should have used the classic rounds, which are just better and doesn't really scream to everyone where you are as a sniper. It's the right thought, just the wrong effect.
If a sniper kills you without you ever seeing him or knowing he exists, you think, well, that's an annoying spot. How am I supposed to fight against that?
You go soldier or scout or spy and you just fucking run the sniper down. Because the sniper can only kill one player at a time. And the sniper needs to kill 2 people in order to make up for him playing sniper. So that means if you go in and die, your team is still at a net positive. Is what that means. A lot of people don't know this, but when we come to balance, people have like this focal point that they're looking at in something that's like wider than the crop of this green screen webcam.
I did, however, increase the body shot damage penalty from minus 20% to minus 66%.
Hello? Are you not aware of the deficit that I'm already at, which is even higher when my body shot damage is lower because it's harder to hit body shots? Like here, I think the deficit will be like 3 or 4 players with this damage nerf. Like, what the fuck? If we play with like 8 players and I play sniper with this weapon, I have to kill half the team in order to make up for this fucking damage nerf. What?
A normal sniper rifle does 150 damage on a fully charged body shot, and the Hitman's Heatmaker does 50. It is the weapon of
this is how you never get a weapon to get picked ever. It's like you're never only gonna do headshots because sometimes you can't see their heads.
of the tryhards. If you're a truly elite sniper who never misses a shot, you won't notice any of the sniper nerfs as long as you use this weapon.
Yeah, you won't notice any of the sniper nerfs except when you are like playing against like any classes where you have like hard learned the damage threshold, so you do like headshot, body shot, kill easy, except now you have to do like 4 more body shots, which will make them escape, heal up, come back, know where you are, and kill you. Thus, making it even worse, but at least the headshot damage, the fucking something.
But if you think this weapon sucks, then I have one recommendation for you. Get good. Nerfed.
Get good. Damn, I've never seen such rage bait in my life. Yeah, you know this weapon that you already puts at the deficit, which makes you weaker? If you want to be good with it, you should just get good with it.
And if you're somebody who thinks about game design sometimes, you probably know that by giving every sniper rifle tracer rounds, it inadvertently buffs the Machina, which used to be the only rifle to have that downside. Which is why the Machina now slows down your move speed just a little bit to make up for all the extra damage you get to do. Nerfed.
What? Wait, is it slower? Ah, because the Machina does more damage when you charge, you can't position yourself in a way where you can actually make use of this, because you're so slow that you will just die to anything. Yeah, okay, so all the time you spent as a sniper learning how far you walk in the scope so you can properly space so that you don't get hit by shit in the scope, so you can barely survive and get the crucial pick, you'd be like, nah, you do more damage, you deserve to die.
Cleaner's Carbine, which now has highly increased accuracy to make it more of a mid-range finisher weapon, distinguishing it from the SMG's close range capability.
If you have a buff banner Cleaner's Carbine, this is going to be a problem, I think. If you look at like what we did with the Carbine, we made it like only 20% more accurate because you do less damage and you shoot slower, but you do have like this, you know, this utility, right? So it makes more sense. But I think like, because we thought about the same thing, I just think like this is a bit crazy. I can mime, and we used the Tomislav method.
Buffed. Oh, and remember how fucking boring the Darwin's Danger Shield is? I mean, come on, fire resistance? Who cares?
The snipers who keep getting sniped by scored shots and flare guns constantly, when there's really no other counter to that, this is a good answer. So I'll show you what we did. You're just immune to Afterburn. We just gave you slightly more health. And we made it behave like the Pyro's Afterburn immunity, right? Instead of like 55 resistance, because what if the enemy team doesn't have a Pyro? Does nothing. It's like the Razorback in vanilla TF2. If the enemy team has no spy, it doesn't do anything, which I think is an awful design for a weapon.
I'm reinventing this item into what I call the Forester's Frog Skin. It'll protect you from danger, sure, but not by passively shielding you from one random class in the game. Instead, this thing gives you increased move speed, massively increased jump height, and 25 less max health. Remember what I said about wanting Sniper to reposition more? This thing will let you do that and then some. You can reposition yourself right in front of some dude's face and lodge an arrow into it, or simply jump back and forth between health packs and high ground. You can now go where no sniper has ever gone before. Nobody will see it coming, but they will be able to react strategically due to the tracer rounds, unless you use the Heatmaker, in which case I think I may have just unleashed the mother of all tryhards. Buffed.
What? I think this is like probably the most bonkers change that I've seen, where you take everything that Sniper is and you just throw it out the window. So Sniper, because he can kill anyone at any range, like far away, up close, he should have no movement options other than just running normally. Because with good players and movement, they become a lot harder to kill. So if you had an oppressive sniper before, you can now have an oppressive sniper that just goes into a spot, gets a kill, jumps out, does it again, can't punish. Because it's also free, right? Normally, like this kind of mobility, this kind of high jump, it costs something to do every time. That's like why in the balance mod with the disciplinary action, you lose a bit of max health whenever you use it, because speed shouldn't be free. The only class that should have free speed is Scout. Everyone else needs to lose some health or some point, like Heavy with the Drain and Soldier and Demo with like Rocket and Sticky Jumping taking health or removing the damage the Rocket Jumper does altogether, but you still take full damage, right? So this just... I hope this was just for the funnies, because it makes no sense and has no place in TF2.
Instead of shielding you through mobility, this one actually will shield you passively. Not being able to be overhealed was kinda stupid, so I removed it. I understand why it was there. It was to prevent a sniper from being able to tank a bunch of revolver shots through the overheal while simultaneously being immune to backstabs.
No. The reason was that you couldn't counter snipe him. Because he can't die to backstabs, right? And then the only other option you have is another sniper counter sniping him, because as a spy, there's no way you can get close if he's overheal. That means he has a team protecting him. So when he had overheal, it's just like the most oppressive thing ever, especially in Highlander and competitive place, where you just like use the sniper as a sword with infinite range and just like chop down everything. So yeah.
But don't worry, because I've removed the backstab immunity. It still discourages backstabs though, because it soaks your stabber in Jarate for 8 seconds. So if you're playing around your team, you are...
Yeah, Spy doesn't care. You can just cloak or dead ringer and reduce the time it does that. And now you're actually punishing spies for doing what they're supposed to. And also you're kind of doing them a disservice, because in the vanilla game, like it looks like a shield, right? And it has like some electric shit on it. And people are kind of used to it, you know, protecting them from spies. Which is, I mean, it's a bad choice, but you know, you can still have it. So then the sniper has 2 Jarates. He has 2 weapons doing the same thing. One where he dies and coats one guy, where probably it won't matter. And yeah, so what did we do with Razorback? Well, we increased the recharge rate, and we gave him like slightly faster move speed while scoped, because it needs to do something if the enemy doesn't have a spy, and the faster move speed doesn't really, like, it helps a little bit, you take a little less damage. And we made it so that you can overheal, but not over 150, so you can still get quick scoped. So it still does what it's supposed to do and does something else as well, which I think is fine.
Are sure to be avenged quickly after your death. It also increases your max health.
To be sure to be avenged after your death. You are aware that snipers are usually in the back where no one else is, right? It changes nothing. If they had the normal Razorback, the spy would just revolver shot them anyway, so like, I'd say it's an inconsequential change that doesn't really add or do anything useful, I'd say.
By 25 like the Danger Shield used to. Now it's harder for a spy to stab you and harder for him to shoot you to death, but both are still possible, unlike with the old Razorback where it forced spies to use their revolver. The health bonus also means you get a little bit more out of health packs and can be overhealed to 225 health, which I think will combo nicely with the Huntsman and hopefully won't be too unfair to fight against. I mean, surely a pocket soldier is still going to be more dangerous than a pocket Huntsman sniper, right? I've also been calling this one the Wet Blanket instead of the Razorback because I just imagine Sniper wearing a huge pea-soaked blanket on his back that coats spies in Jarate for stabbing him. Nerfed, but...
Yes, let's imagine the weapon being a pea-soaked blanket.
Only kind of. And now for the Cozy Camper, which is exactly the same as it used to be, except that it now puts your max ammo to a whopping 40, so that you can...
Right. So you're like, oh man, snipers having 25 ammo sure is a problem. Let's fix that by removing the bonus, or the regular. We cut it in half, and then we have this other item which almost doubles the ammo that he had from before. This is people putting crayons up their noses like, what are you thinking? I put this in manned machines, which is just a bonkers, crazy game mode where fucking anything goes. I would never, ever consider this ever on anything. Yeah, so now you can camp more, which was a problem, which I have forgotten about.
And, you know, camp. If you somehow manage to surf a rocket into a crazy good sniping position, the Cozy Camper will let you heal back up, like normal, and keep you well stocked up on ammo. Buffed. Alright, time to talk about a weapon that should be cool, but isn't. The Shahancha. A little extra damage when below half health and a little less when above, that's just kinda lame. It's not that impactful. So I changed each instance of...
I don't like when people say, oh, it's lame and it's boring, when it's just like super subjective. Right? A lot of balance is subjective, but like you shouldn't be. I mean, there's a lot of these. How to say it? There's a lot of these YouTubers who tell you how to feel, and then the viewers just goes, okay, I feel that way because you told me. It's just stats on a weapon. I mean, the original Shahancha is like better than Kukri when you're almost dead. Otherwise, it's worse. Right? What did we do? Well, we just made it more Shahancha, so it's like 40%, right? So it's not double, but it's like, I don't remember exactly, but there was some threshold that you reach with the 40% that you don't reach with the 45% or the 25% when I did the math. Let's see what this guy does.
Of 25% with 70%. That's right, 70% more damage when low on health, 70% less damage when you're healthy. That's 111 and 20 damage respectively. It is truly situational now. And of course, adding that much damage to any weapon means I've got to get rid of random crits. You know the drill, we can't have snipers one-shotting heavies with their melee, and it deploys slow and swings a little slower, so it's really not a get-out-of-jail-free card at all. It is a guaranteed 111 damage after all. That should make any scout or spy think twice about chasing you around that corner.
That's a lot of damage if you combine that with Jarate, holy shit. But if it's deploys slower, then it's even worse at high health, which you don't always have time to react to. You're looking at your health and like, how much health do I have? Maybe you're using like the Razorback and you have more than 125, so you're like off or something. I'd say this is like passable, I guess, but like 75% seems a bit crazy when the highest damage buff you have on other weapons is like for the Scotsman Skull Cutter, right? You have like 20%. And then we like, oh yeah, double that, but the sniper's almost dead anyway, right? So he's like one melee swing away from dying, but like 75% is like, yeah, it's like, that's a lot. I think that's too good.
Buffed. And speaking of spies, let's talk about the Tribalman's Shiv. In normal TF2, it's a decent way to reveal spies, but nowhere near as good as the Jarate. So I just...
It's not as good as the Jarate. The Tribalman's Shiv has to be as good as all the other melee unlocks. You can't... Yeah, the Tribalman's Shiv like really sucks against the sniper rifle because the sniper rifle has like really long range. Like you can't compare different slots with different slots. Like you have to compare melee weapons to melee weapons across the classes. You can't compare. It's like, oh well, the sniper's Shiv is not as good as the soldier's rocket launcher because it doesn't have splash. That's essentially what he's doing. It's like you are comparing fucking the knife that is better if you swing with it once than the fucking, like, one of the best items in the game. All right, sure. Let's compare uncomparable stuff, because you don't get an error in real life when you do that.
Leaned into the bleed a little more and made it do less damage on hit with longer bleed time, meaning it does 87 damage over the course of 10 seconds instead of 81 damage over the course of 6 seconds. 10 seconds is also how long how long Jarate lasts.
Sex
You know,
jokes! Ah!
4 extra seconds to chase down a spy will definitely come in handy.
Wait.
For reference. 4 extra seconds to chase down a spy will
4 extra seconds of bleed. Yeah, I mean, pretty inconsequential, I think. Sure. I think, like, keeping it as is fine enough, because it does serve a purpose, and it's not really, like, meant to be, like, a true spy tool, right? Because the spy can just negate stuff with good positioning and health packs and stuff like that. And I think, like, adding more bleed will just give the spy more time to pick up a health pack, right? So it's like this threshold that you're inside that doesn't really matter, I think.
definitely come in handy, but it's not really doing any extra damage. Buffed. Whew, alright, that was a lot of changes for just Sniper and Heavy, but I think we can all agree that those are the classes that needed them the most.
What? Do you see how many of the Pyro's weapons that are bad? Like, of the Pyro's melee weapons, which weapons are bad? Oh, you know, everyone except this one. Oh boy.
I might be biased because he's my most played class, but I can't think of a single weapon he has that doesn't work the way it should. Moving on to Scout.
Yeah, I can't think of anything. Let's see, what did we do? We didn't actually touch Soldier that much, but we have the Bison, sucks. Reserve Shooter, needs to work a bit better. Mantreads, bad. This one got absolutely gutted in the update that nerfed it. And of course, I think this is like of the soldiers' melees, which ones do you use? Oh, you know, the whip and this one, and none of the others, because they're always worse. Except the Market Garden, though. Like, these three are like the ones everyone uses. Right? So, that's a hasty gloss over, but sure.
I'm just playing with you, alright? You didn't think I'd forget the weakest weapon in the game, did you? The Righteous Bison? This thing sucks. So I quadrupled its fire rate to have a kind of net-like effect where you catch enemies. You know, like your
net-like effect where you catch enemies, except it's nothing like a net, because a net goes like this, not in the straight line. But, you know, wet pea blanket instead of Razorback guy. Let's just imagine things, right?
creating a wall of projectiles rather than trying to actually aim individual shots, which proves to be completely impossible with this weapon. Now it actually has a mid-range use of pushing a sniper out of his nest or breaking up a big cluster of enemies, instead of just being, you know, the fucking worst weapon in the game. It's still not going to be out damaging your rocket launcher though, so don't get any big ideas. It should be fun to play with though. Buffed.
So he's actually in on something here, except that he overbuffed it, which happens, you know. So in the balance mod, I recognize that, you know, the Bison doesn't really serve any purpose, and snipers are very much a problem. So what we did is that while he increased the firing speed, which makes it so that if he gets critted or mini critted, if he's shooting at a sniper that doesn't see the bullets coming, he's going to fucking one-shot the sniper. The sniper has no chance. You can just go. I guess, like, with I didn't see how much damage you did, like, with all of them, but I think you do more than 125. At least with mini crits, you should. So that means you shoot a sniper and he just fucking dies. It's like you headshot him. He has no way to react, especially if he's using the Machina, which makes him, like, even slower, right? So I like this approach, but I think you should do what we do, is like make the projectile faster, but you shoot one at a time. So the sniper, like, you don't kill the sniper, you harass the sniper. Like, if he doesn't move, he dies, but he will have time to move because of the effort. Like, it costs you nothing as a soldier with this Bison to just whip it out and just pepper down something and then switch back to your rocket launcher. You can, like, pepper him down and then jump him, right? And the sniper really doesn't have an answer for either of those, except try to move out of the way.
But I think Scout doesn't have a single overpowered weapon. I am making
Yeah, I
this
think
for
so.
you guys though, so if you all really think the Force of Nature or Criticola need to be changed, I'm willing to work with you guys there. But for right now, I'm just gonna change the Candy Cane and call it a day. Instead of 25% more damage from explosives, which ends up making this thing too situational, I'm just gonna go all the way and give him 25 less health for equipping the item. And to balance it out and make this thing actually fun, I've made it so that the health packs enemies drop when you kill them now fully heal you, along with every other health pack in the game. Meaning as long as you don't take too much damage all at once, you could theoretically go on a total rampage with this thing, or a sugar rush, if you will. Buffed.
Oh, I think that's how to say it. It's like two very polarizing opposites where you don't have enough health, because like 100 health is like a threshold where you just get one shot by so much stuff, right? What did we do with the Candy Cane? It's been a while since I've done this. Yeah, we just made you have less overheal and build uber slower on medics. I mean, Scout dies fast enough anyway, so I think like this is like overtuned where you have like either or. Like health packs healing you for full health when it's only 100. Sure, it's fine. It's like you get a lot of value out of a heavy, but then again, I don't think the healing will matter if a demo one-shots you. And there's a lot of spam in TF2. There's a lot of demo men.
And for the third class that barely gets changed, Demo Man. I'll be honest, I'm just gonna buff the shit out of the Caber and move on with my life. No more damage nerf. In fact, there's a damage buff. Triple damage to buildings. You heard me. I want to live in a world where Demo Man can charge headfirst into a distracted sentry gun and destroy everything in the vicinity, including himself. This one definitely needs playtesting, but I'm praying to God that it works the way I want it to.
It doesn't work the way you want it to because we already tested this, and the good demos knows how to charge a sentry, and this is just the most overpowered broken things. If you look at an engineer spends around 30, 40 seconds setting up a gun in the right place, upgrading it all, and then you just go, upgrade, I equipped the Caber, and I charge it, and I hit it once, and it's dead. Ha, got it, easy. No, this is... You pray, but you can just run the numbers, right? You gotta fucking just not throw shit at the wall and hope it sticks. You gotta be like, all right, what is the engineer's effort on this versus my effort? Here, it's extreme. It's like worse than the red tape recorder in terms of effort versus the time you waste of the engineer. Since, a sentry can only shoot one target at a time, so if two demo men with the Caber charges him, it's just gonna die every time. With little to no skill required from the demo other than seeing the gun and right-clicking the gun and then swinging the weapon at the gun. Alright.
Because this image is just hilarious to me. The next change might be considered a downside, but really it's just another upside, which is that the Demo Man's Ullapool Caber deals more damage to himself, enough to guarantee that the Demo Man dies even if he's overhealed. Now normal, sane people will see this as a downside, but Caber users are not normal, sane people. They don't want to live after they've lost their Caber. That's all they've got going for them. It's the only thing they care about. Dying immediately after using it just means you get to respawn quicker, which means you get your charge replenished faster, which means more cabering. It's all upsides in Caber Town. Also, it gets random crits now. Fuck you, it's buffed. Oh, and
yeah, so we actually tried this with the balance mod a while back, and it basically became so that you could just charge down and one-shot 450 health heavies. So the game turned into whoever has the most Caber Knights wins, because you can just, if your team has a medic and the other team has a medic, and you can trade demo for medic, which is a trade you should always do. The medic literally can't do anything. You just jump him, charge in, he dies because you're faster. There's literally no counterplay. So the fact that you die yourself, but you always kill your target is just ridiculously strong. It has no place in TF2.
well, it's the Carpet Bomber now. Buffed. And since these Demo Man buffs might bother some engineer mans, I'll go ahead and tell you about the Texans' new toys. The Thompson.
So the demo man, what? So the demo man can just completely fuck over. What was the stats on this thing? Oh, minus 10% damage penalty. Oh, so it does 90 instead of 100. Wow. That'll change a lot of things when all 4 grenades come at once. So instead of doing 400, you will do like 360 if all of them hit. I mean, I changed the Iron Bomber in the manned machine game mode because it really didn't do anything to be this, but better. And that game mode's crazy. It's not supposed to be balanced. All right, so the logic here is that because Demoman is buffed, the engineer gets to have some weapons that mildly inconvenience you.
Might bother some engineer mans, I'll go ahead and tell you about the Texan's new toys. The Pumpson now fires faster, like the Regis Bison, but not as fast, and reloads slower. And instead,
I would like for him to keep the Bison and the Pumpson the same. Makes things easier for everybody. It means that you can like the things you've learned with the Bison you can apply to the Pumpson, muscle memory and all that stuff. It doesn't seem right to me.
instead of draining Uber and Cloak, it just drains twice as much Cloak now. There is just no fucking reason Engineer should be capable of single-handedly destroying an Uber push on his own goddamn sentry. Since spies can get a ton of Cloak from destroyed buildings, this shouldn't be too annoying for spy players unless they're using the Dead Ringer, in which case if you don't have the Dead Ringer active, it's gonna disable it for a couple of seconds, and if you do have the Dead Ringer active, you're gonna get about, 1 millisecond of Cloak before the Engineer comes at you with his wrench. I think it's about time we saw some Dead Ringer counterplay from Engineer, don't you?
You mean like disabling the Dead Ringer? The spy has a sapper because, dealing with sentries can be kind of tough. And then you have a weapon that, because in the balance mode we removed all kind of drains because you shouldn't be able to affect the resources of anyone you're facing, right? So this means like if you have, let's say you have a sentry nest that is very well protected. There's like 3 level 3 sentries that has for some reason gotten up before with your team being unable to punish it. It's protected by pyros. And the only way you can do it is like if you try and get a sap as a spy, but you won't be able to get close. Sometimes you can Dead Ringer in and kind of like force a sap as your team pushes in. But with now, if you have 3 engineers with the pumps and just fucking shooting all over the place, there's nothing you can do as a spy, and it requires the engineer to do nothing. But then again, you don't need spy because Demoman is so fucking strong, he can just fucking do it all by himself. You can just carpet bomb that shit. Easy. Why do you need spy? You've effectively nerfed him out of the game with fucking this Thompson change, which is just insane.
Buffed. Okay, time to make every Engineer main watching this very angry. The Jag is too strong, it just is, everyone uses it, and for good reason. The repair penalty is barely even a penalty due to the increased swing speed. I think the Jag should be great at getting buildings up quick, but bad at keeping them up. So I increased the repair rate penalty from -25% to -40%. You can still use the Rescue Ranger to repair quickly, so this shouldn't be too bad, but I'm really tired of the Jag reigning supreme over all the other wrenches. Nerfed.
Yeah, so this is actually a pretty valid complaint there, because the engineer wrenches aren't all created equal. If you look at what we did here with the wrench, we can see that we reduced the repair rate to 40%. Was that the same as he did?
To -40%. You can still use the rescue.
Yeah, so this is exactly the same as the balance mod. The threshold this changes is I don't think you can out-repair a direct hit, I think is the benchmark that I used. And that's pretty much it. You can still repair with your normal wrench just fine. Exactly what we had. Good change.
No spy expects you to pull this thing out, so it's hilarious to smack him in the face with crazy damage and watch him squirm away bleeding. I think it's honestly one of the most underrated weapons in
What is it with all this projecting? It's like, oh, I made the spy feel bad and they squirmed away. Ha ha ha. I know it's a way of speaking, but like he's literally telling you how to feel.
TF2, and hopefully with this Jag change, that will stop being the case. The Southern hospitality remains unchanged. And now it's time for us to discuss what
Why did you mention it then? Yeah, it's just fun to make him bleed.
in my opinion, is the most hair-wrenching stat in all of TF2. the Eureka Effect's 20% metal penalty. I hate this stat so much. It is so unforgiving. A medium ammo pack used to give you everything you needed for a dispenser, but not with the Eureka Effect. A large ammo pack doesn't even let you fully upgrade your sentry or dispenser. What is this chicanery? It's so...
Valve designed a wrench that would entirely revolve around you building a teleporter and teleporting back and forth into it, thus making everything else worse. The fact that you don't get this is kind of alarming. Right? It's like you can teleport back to spawn anytime. You can teleport to your exit, even if it's sapped and don't have an entrance. Yeah, but the ammo packs aren't enough.
so unfun to use, and it throws off your entire engineer rhythm.
Yes! Because it revolves around you teleporting back and forth constantly. God, it's like, I equipped this weapon that is different. And it's different. I can't use it the way I used to. It feels bad. I'm telling you to feel bad because feelings and likes go well on YouTube.
Taunt teleportation, granted, is awesome, but I never once in my life have used this weapon with...
Notice I was using like this melancholy music to fucking manipulate you even further.
A smile on my face, except for during weird ninja-neering shenanigans that only really work if you don't build a teleporter entrance, which makes your whole team look at you like you're an asshole.
Don't ninja-neer. Just play like you would normally play an engineer, but you can put up in a spot that doesn't have metal, and you can get shit up like really fast. You can build like, you know, your buildings in spawn. Ask a teammate, hey, can you go engineer upgrade my shit while I fix things? And they go like, okay. And then boom, boom, bang, level 3 sentry, level 3 dispenser, teleporter, boom, super fast, go, go, go. Excellent wrench. But no, I wanted to like build, I wanted to make my, like if you're an engineer and you build like a sentry near the enemy base, like 90% of the games you sabotage your team and you lose. It's like literally one of the worst strategies you can do as engineer.
And the construction speed boost penalty is fine, but I think a more fun wrench would look something like this. Keep the cheaper teleporters, keep the taunt teleportation feature, make teleporters two-way.
No, don't do that. That is turbo busted. Because I think, I don't remember when I tested this, and I'm not going to test it now, but I think like a spy can like hog the teleporter forever and telefrag you back into spawn. Wouldn't that be fun?
You heard that right. Two-way, and make teleporters build 50% faster. This opens up all kinds of team-oriented teleporter shenanigans and will ideally make Payload and 5CP maps more fun since your old teleporter exit can become your new teleporter entrance. It's clearly the teleporting man's wrench, so it only has one downside. Sentries fire half as fast, meaning half damage and half knockback.
Oh
and
boy.
they're just as
That means your sentry's gonna die twice as fast too. Your sentries are gonna be literally useless at this point. So you have a teleporter, you can teleport back and forth, that can be easily sabotaged by a spy or a teammate. And then your sentries don't do shit. Good wrench.
expensive to build, so this is really a kick in the lug nuts. I imagine this new Eureka effect being great with cooperative engineering, giving...
Yeah, like you forgot to mention you can have with the normal Eureka effect. Strange how you paint that picture, huh?
all the engineers on your team the ability to teleport back to spawn through your two-way teleporters and resupply their metal while they focus on keeping up the sentries. You could even do things no engineer has ever thought to do, like not placing the teleporter entrance at spawn and instead placing it somewhere on the battlefield itself, essentially allowing your team's heavies to be in two places at once or having an elevator between high ground and low ground.
Oh, like the jump pads that we made where you can do that and have it not be abusable and way more fun and interesting than just a two-way teleporter, which is just the MVM upgrade.
I'm really happy with this design, and while it may not be perfect, I'm hoping you guys can give it a shot and let me know what works and what doesn't. Alright.
They've just told you what doesn't work. So what did we do with the Eureka effect? Well, we kind of made it good. Right, so the original doesn't refill your ammo, so you kind of have to bind your loadout key, right? Because you like teleport back, loadout key, get your metal, teleport back out, which is just busy work, right? It used to give you all of your metal back when you just teleported back to spawn. So we made you do that so you can like be a bit more snappy, right? And then what else did we do? We made it so that all wrenches are cheaper, so you don't need to switch to the Eureka effect to get less teleporter health, or not health, but build cost. Because if you are a new player and you don't have the Eureka effect, and the other engineer does, well, you're going to waste a lot of metal, and you're going to be at a disadvantage because you didn't own an item, which just made everything easier. So it's just like unifying and making things more of a balanced playing field. It makes sense to do.
Right now it's spy time, and these changes are my favorite. Remember when I said that a select few weapons in TF2 are legitimately overpowered? Well, my friend, most of them belong to spy. First,
do they? Most of the overpowered weapons? Let's have a look at the fucking tier list that I made. Alright, he's right. Spy has 3 overpowered weapons. That is the Spicicle, Red Tape Recorder, and Diamondback. Everything else is fine. Spoke too soon. Yeah, overpowered, always good. But if you look, like, Spy has mostly stuff that's okay and good, right?
First, the Diamondback, which gets you a full-blown crit every time you stab someone or sap a building. It increases your damage when their damage gets decreased. You get crits when their heavy gets stabbed, when their sentry goes down. Much worse. I'm all for snowball weapons that reward you for doing well, but look at the Eyelander or the Bizarre Bargain, for instance. These take time to snowball. You have to really prioritize survival to see any benefits from these weapons. The Diamondback doesn't even encourage survival. It's like, well, I have all my crits now, I guess it's time to fucking use my ultimate ability by running headfirst into the enemy team, killing 3 random people, and then dying immediately. I'm fine with this being the damage gun, but Jesus Christ, that's just too much damage. So with that in mind, I am proud to introduce you to...
So before he goes into that, like, there's all valid points, right? The main problem is that there's no fall off. So if you just add damage fall off on the crits, it's fine. Let's see what this guy does.
The Diamond back-to-back. It's just like the normal revolver, except it's only got 2 bullets. But if you manage to take someone out with the first bullet, then you've got 1 second of critical hits, enough time to fire the last bullet and take out a second target before escaping. And no, you won't be able to chain together crits because the reload time is actually a little longer than the crit time. The crit itself will do 120 damage, so if you've got a weak player and a semi-weak player in your sights, you can dispose of them both in less than a second if you really know what you're doing. Think James Bond double taps. And you might be thinking,
James Bond double taps. I have never heard of that in my life. What even is that? But yeah, I've actually dabbled a lot with Spy and the balance of how he works and the economy and the damage he does. And like reducing the clip to 2 and having like this really small window, because we did have a weapon that gave you crits for like a small amount of time. I think it was the Neon Annihilator, like way back in the balance mod days, where it gave you like a tiny window, and the window is like never enough. Like 1 second is like nothing. You need it to be like at least 4 seconds for it to be like impactful, because what if no one else is there? Then it doesn't do anything, right? It's not like you can control where enemies are going.
wait a minute, doesn't this kind of discourage the spy's enemies from protecting their weak players, since getting close to a weak player might mean they get double killed? And yeah.
No! What? What did... What did you just say? Discourage your team from protecting its weaker players from getting double tapped. Those are words. What did he say?
Doesn't this kind of discourage the spy's enemies from protecting their weak players, since getting close to a weak player might mean they get double killed?
No! You literally just kill the spy before he kills you. Like, the chances of the spy fucking hitting the crit with a gun like that is fucking minimal. Because he's already shot someone and adjusted his sights, and you know he's there because you heard the shots, right? It's like when John Hill said, "Oh yeah, that you get punished for hitting a Dead Ringer spy." No further explanation.
And yeah, it does. That's the point. The Spy's Disguise Kit already makes the enemy team not trust their teammates and not want to get near them because they might get backstabbed, and the Diamond Back-to-Back pushes that concept even further. With this new design, I'm hoping that a spy can break the enemy team's psychology just as well as he can stab their backs. I absolutely adore the idea for this item, but I can totally see it being broken in practice, so
No, it's not gonna. It's gonna be fucking trash. You're not gonna be able to do anything with 2 bullets and long reload. You're gonna shoot, you're gonna miss, or you're gonna be like, uh-oh, and then, like, you have to kind of balance around people being, like, somewhat competent, right? Because if players aren't competent, then things get very easy for spot. You can't just be like, oh yeah, oh, there's a weak player near me. I hope this Diamond Back-to-Back doesn't kill us both. It's like, what's stopping, like, a KGB heavy from doing that? It just runs in, punches your friend, and just fucking mows you down. It's literally this, but easier and better.
but you guys will again have to try it out and let me know. Nerfed. Alright, moving on.
Yeah, you guys have to try it out and let him know, because he hasn't done any math on this, I think. Like, what threshold does this change? Like, when I made my videos, I have memories of me, like, explaining, like, the different things you can and can't do in, like, an actual matchup. Bizarre.
On to Spy's other broken weapon, the Conniver's Kunai. Cause who needs stealth when you can take 2 rockets to the face like they're stale Cheetos? And to top it all off, we already have a knife that helps.
If that wasn't a bot, he would have died there 100%.
So what did I do about the kunai? Well, I might have actually made it worse. Please do not hate me for this. I turned it into a throwing knife. Just
Why would I hate you for this? Are you projecting the emotions that you're manipulating others onto yourself again? Seems to be a theme here.
hear me out, okay? It was already one of the most unbalanced weapons in the game, right? So I'm willing to get
Well, the kunai is like an interesting thing because like against competent players, it does literally nothing. And against bad players, you can fucking wipe an entire team. Because like, if the enemy team knows that there's a spy with a kunai, like you have 70 health, you're gonna die to like a rocket or a pipe so many times. And whenever you get like a backstab, like spies should in reality only get 1 to 2 backstabs back to back, right? And then die immediately after. Doesn't matter that he has 200 health or whatever. But that's like, you know, pub philosophy. The same like a good heavy and medic on a casual setting can kill the entire enemy team and they can't do anything about it.
Experimental and try out this potentially crazy overpowered design. I think it'll work, but I could see it.
This crazy overpowered design might work, guys. Trust me. I main soldier.
Totally blowing up in our face. It's just a little more melee range. That's it, right? You've still only got 70 health with no health regen, plus it deploys a little slower too.
It's just fucking insane. There's no way to telegraph how long your range is. I would prefer, like, if you were gonna do this, I think like creators did this or someone did years ago, where you just threw it, and if you hit someone in the back, you'd one shot, and it was like super wonky and incredibly overpowered because you had like the risk involved for the spy to get close was like extremely low. Like spy, at the core design of spy, you need to be like up and close and personal in order to get that like backstab kill. And this makes it so you don't have to get up close and personal, and yeah, you only have 70 health. So I think like it's gonna play more or less the same as a normal knife. You get a stab and then you die.
Too. It could be balanced, right? I mean, maybe, who the hell knows?
I know, it's not gonna be balanced. You literally haven't done anything because people expect to get more survivability off of it, and you've kind of given them that with like more range, but it's hard, very hard to telegraph, and I can't imagine the nightmare of fucking trick stabs with this thing.
Nothing like this has really been tried before for Spy. But remember all those cool throwing knife designs on the Steam Workshop? Didn't you ever wonder what could have been?
No. We tested, it was too OP and overpowered with little to no counterplay.
Kunai already looks like a throwing knife. I just took it a step further and actually made
Yeah, but then you should make it throwable. There's code to do that.
it one. I'll be honest, the rest of the balance changes I've made in this are, based on logic, based on experience, based on good design principles.
Based on logic, based on good design principles. It's the class that should not, under any circumstances, have mobility. You gave him a fucking kangaroo pack? No. No, that doesn't fly, my man.
But this one, I just kind of vibed out. I'm sorry if...
Oh, you vibed out this one? Feels like you vibed out a lot of these, especially the diamond back-to-back, the James Bond double tap, which I have never heard of. Is that a thing? It's literally not a thing.
If it sucks, we can always change it later if we need to. Nerfed, I hope. Alright, time to get back to the realm of reality. The Enforcer is...
The realm of reality? We've been in your, imaginary world of, we have had some balance choices which has been, identical to, or more or less identical to balance model, similar alley, where it's kind of same idea, different execution. And then you had some, really out in the field takes where you really don't understand how the class works, right? Pretend the Razorback is a piss blanket.
It's pointless, and it's time for it to be changed. Forget everything you know about the Enforcer.
Alright, I've forgotten everything I know about the Enforcer.
I'd like to introduce you to L'Exécuteur. You'll never guess what that's French for. With this thing, you've got one bullet per clip, less damage, less reserve ammo, and 2 times slower reload.
And you thought the Diamondback was bad. How about a gun that does literally nothing?
Load speed. Pretty good so far, huh? It only has one upside too. On hit, bleed for 8 seconds. That's 64 damage, way less DPS than the normal revolver. You might be thinking that it'd be impossible to get any meaningful kills with this thing, and you'd probably be right. But maybe you don't need to. Hit a sniper with this bullet and he'll bleed for 8 seconds, taking up to 64 damage if he doesn't find a health pack. Yeah, that's less damage than shooting him with the normal revolver, but this isn't about damage. The sniper will be bleeding for 8 seconds, which means flinching for 8 seconds. Are you starting to get the picture?
Or you could just stab him and kill him, and then you don't have to worry about, even my washed-ass sniper can shoot people consistently while flicking with bleed. It's not hard. It's the same with fire. It's just a timing thing. The best option would be to kill the sniper. Not mildly inconvenience him and give him a time to fucking kill you, because you can't do fucking shit. What if the sniper has an SMG? You shoot him once and then he just kills you. Or makes you run away, and then he goes and get a health back, and you've literally... I mentioned this earlier, that Sniper has a deficit of 2 players you need to kill or waste the time of to make up for you playing Sniper. And the same goes for Spy, because you don't occupy any space when you're fighting. And now you can't, Spy already is the weakest class at fighting, and now he's even worse? Oh, but you can make the Sniper bleed for 64.
Sniper already has the ability to disable Spy's cloak for 10 seconds with the Jarate or the Tribalman Shiv, and now L'Exécuteur turns the tables. It lets Spy disable Sniper's aim for 8 whole seconds. But don't worry, snipers, you can always equip the Cozy Camper to avoid flinching if this becomes a real problem. Buffed.
Yeah, don't worry, you can just totally negate the thing that I just made. With the Cozy Camper, that also totally negates the balance change of the Sniper having too much ammo. What the fuck is this guy on? It's such conflicting ideas.
Based on logic, based on experience, based on good design principles. And how can we talk about Spy without discussing Pyro? And what would a Pyro discussion be if we didn't bring up everybody's favorite flamethrower, the Phlogistinator? This weapon is going to be unchanged, because I don't think the Phlogistinator is the guilty party here.
Yeah, the only thing we changed in the balance mod was reduce its damage to buildings, so you can't just clean house as quickly. As Pyro, Pyromedic, Scorch Shot Pyromedic with Uber. It's pretty strong, pretty easy to do. Gives you way more reward than the effort you put in compared to other stuff in a pub setting.
Flog is the fall guy. The real culprit is the Scorch Shot. This thing sucks to play against. All a pyro has to do is aim in the general direction of the enemy team and left click, and within moments his Flog meter will now be filled up and ready to go. No more, I say. I'm gonna totally turn this thing upside down. Meet the new Scorch Shot, or as I call it, the Firefly. Wait, don't click off the video. I know it looks terrible. I know it looks like total bullshit, but I promise it's not that bad. These flares barely do any damage. It's all just in the afterburn. And look at them. They don't move very fast at all either. And
Okay, they don't do a lot of damage. They're super slow. They go fucking all over the place. Players can just slowly, casually avoid getting hit by them. But at least they look nice like fireflies, right?
good luck trying to actually aim the damn thing. They go all over the place. The point of this weapon is to let Pyro do what the
Did you see the damage it did up close?
Scorch Shot was already making.
Well, that's the stats, huh?
The Pyro do, which is to just aim in the general direction of the enemy team and hold down left click, but with a better result. Armageddon fire on big groups of enemies to cause maximum chaos from a distance. It's not actually gonna kill anybody. Imagine raining down.
So what you essentially did is you changed how the Scorch Shot worked, which is just being a splash damage flare that hits everyone in a choke, with a rapid fire flare gun that hits everyone in a choke and deals fire damage. And it's maybe a little bit worse at that, is what it looks like.
Armageddon on an enemy push while a couple Huo long heater heavies sit behind you ready to pick off anybody hit by the flares. Or imagine just shooting a couple of these bad boys into a room, running in with the extinguisher, and just praying to God that one of them hits something. These new flares, or fireflies, are really just an inconvenient distraction. They're not hard to dodge at all if you're paying attention to them.
Inconvenient distraction. When I could have something that kills. When would I ever use this?
To pay attention to them. I really think this will still manage to be less annoying than the old Scorch Shot. Maybe that makes me look like an idiot, but I don't care. Nerf.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely worse. Close to useless, I think, and if used right, you will have like similar results to the Scorch Shot, so I think you played yourself there.
And remember, like with all of the weapons, if it totally sucks, we can always just change it. This next one though, I'm pretty confident in. The Sharpened Volcano Fragment. It is the Sharpened Volcano Fragment after all. And what does sharp things do?
Alright, so Sharpened Volcano Fragment. So we have a thing that's made of lava that is really fast and really hot. And looks cool, and it puts people on fire. And I think this is like a hint of what he's just gonna add bleed to everything?
Do? That's right. They make you bleed. So now instead of just igniting enemies, the Volcano Fragment will also make them bleed, meaning they'll be taking 16 damage a second for 6 seconds after you hit them with this, for a total of 129 damage. This may seem overpowered, but let me remind you, this is still significantly less damage per second than the normal flamethrower, which can kill a light class in less than 2 seconds if the pyro is aiming properly. And let me also remind you that the original Volcano Fragment did 100 damage after 6 seconds, and nobody thought that was unfair, so this change really isn't that crazy. It'll definitely send enemies into a panic though, seeing their health draining that quickly, especially a medic or light class. Buffed.
It's really inconsequential. I like what we did. Show a clip of that.
I'll start by talking about the Quick Fix, which in my opinion is the most underrated weapon in this entire game. I love this thing. It's basically the only medigun I use. It's fun.
It's the only medigun you use. You are aware that you can't push with the Quick Fix, right? The Quick Fix is great for staying where you are. It's like Vaccinator, but requires less input for around the same reward, right? So if you only use this, I hate you. Now I'm also using Feelings, because that means in the times when we need an Uber to break something, you are still running Quick Fix when the enemies have 3 sentries. Grrr!
as hell, good as hell, and it's gonna remain unchanged. I
Yeah,
wanna make a whole
unchanged. Why bring it up if it's unchanged?
video on this thing sometimes because I don't think anybody truly appreciates what it does for this game. Alright, now for the real change.
Nobody truly appreciates what it does for this game. It heals a bit faster, and then you can jump with your teammates. I don't think enough people appreciate what it does for you. It has bird shit on it.
The Vaccinator. We all know this thing is overpowered. The 75% damage resistance the Ubers provide, combined with Overheal, essentially increases the medic's patient's health by 600%. To put that in perspective, an Overhealed Heavy with the Vaccinator Uber has a functional 1800 health against whatever damage type the medic chooses. That's basically just an Uber charge, except you get 4 of them and they charge twice as fast. If the medic's patient is somehow fighting a soldier, pyro, and scout all at the same time, then yeah, the damage resistances aren't gonna block everything. But most of the time, it's pretty easy for the medic to see what resistance is needed at any given moment and switch to it. You basically win any possible 2v1 with the click of a button. This whole item needs a serious makeover.
Yes, exactly. So the problem here is the fact that you can have 4 charges. You have no way to properly identify how many charges the medic has and how many is used. All the other mediguns have 1 charge and they either have it or they don't. Right? But this one actually requires the medic to do some micromanagement. It's like, oh, is it, rocket, which buff should I apply? Do I know that, like, the passive and active effects don't stack, so as soon as I pop, I should switch to another to have, like, more resistance, that kind of stuff, micromanagement things. So what we did in the balance mod was that, well, we can actually make this entirely readable by reducing the charges to 2. So if you see a medic that has the Vaccinator and he pops it, if he still has the effect, he has 1 more charge. Right? And if he has no charges, well, you see that there's no effect. And then he can only stop 2 out of 3 damage types. So, in normal, when you have 4 charges, you can stop all damage types. But now you can only stop 2. And the whole amount of charges was actually something Banny suggested to me years ago, which is a phenomenal change and just shows we understand the issue, because I didn't really think of that, but it makes total sense, right? Because then you have readability like all the other metiguns. There's a level of information that you can read and you can fake and you can play around it. So let's see what this guy makes for this.
Completely getting rid of the damage type resistances and replacing it with a single invulnerability Uber charge that lasts a little less than 1 second. Enough time to absorb a rocket, meat shot, headshot, or sticky trap if timed well. The Uber meter charges 500% faster to balance this out, taking about 8 seconds to fully charge instead of the normal 40. I want this Uber to feel like a defensive parry instead of like a full hand of get out of jail free card.
A defensive parry is what the fucking Vaccinator is. I don't know what this is. You literally just made Uber charge but shorter. You took out all of the micromanagement mind games, fucking skill-based shit where you have to do reads, and as a medic you have to pay attention and all that shit and be like, oh, fuck, Uber, but it's short.
Cards. And as for the healing itself, I leaned into the vaccination theme of the weapon by giving it an 80% reduced overheal that never depletes. For reference, this will give an overhealed soldier a permanent 220 health, until he takes damage, of course, in which case he'll need to be overhealed again. I want it to feel like you're vaccinating your teammates for the upcoming battle and having the survivors run back to you to get their booster shots once the overheal has been taken away by the enemies. I think this will be more...
Yes, as soon as I lose my 20 health, I'm like, man, gotta go back and get my shot from the medic. Sure glad those 20 health is permanent, and if another medic heals me, it just starts depleting again, because that's how mediguns work.
Fun, more unique, and most importantly, a lot less powerful. Nerfed. And now...
I think it's actually more powerful, actually. I think you made it worse.
For the syringe guns, or as I call them, the syringe guns. They're all getting changed.
The syringe gun. Ah, yes. So the main problem with the syringe gun is that they don't do anything of what the medic wants to do. A medic wants to heal, build Uber, and survive, right? That is the 3 key things that a medic wants to do. And if we look at, the medic's arsenal, These are the things that helps him build Uber. This helps build Uber. This helps survival. This helps survival, kinda. Like, if you don't know balance mod, we change all of this. Like, these 3 guns here, they don't really do anything. This one heals and builds Uber. So what did we do? Well, we made it so that this one builds Uber 15% every 40 damage you do, right? So you can just pop, passive reload, stuff like that. Works nice. We added this so you can just, like, overheal yourself on incoming enemies. So you'd be like, oh, shit, I'm getting fucking bombed. Maybe I surf a rocket, maybe I don't. You can also heal yourself up, so it's like more self-sustained healing. Survivability is what you need. And then we made it so that, like, you can move faster with this thing even with no charge, so you can, like, survivability if your Uber is just drained. And we also made it so that you can combo with, like, the Vitasaw, which we made able to, like, a melee version of the crossbow, which works pretty well. So you have, like, a synergy there, which is like the opposite of, like, the crossbow Uber saw, and you can do all of these kinds of things. You know, it makes sense because we have the medic's game plan loop and the things that medic wants impaled into all of his weapons. So let's see what he does.
Starting with the stock syringe gun. I really wanted to avoid changing stock weapons, but this one is just so incredibly terrible that it pretty much forced my hand here. I think a plus 10% faster firing speed and plus 20% faster deploy time will give it that little extra kick it needs to be a defensive tool for anyone popping up in your face.
No, because it doesn't heal, doesn't help you survive, and doesn't build Uber. It's like, sure, it helps you survive if you kill your target, but it's like, yeah, but if I used the Uber, so I would have had Uber and they would be dead. Missed the mark on that one.
Buffed. And as for evasive tools, we've got the new Overdose. The old Overdose used to increase your move speed while equipped based on your Uber charge percentage, which is kinda cool, but mostly pointless because if you have full Uber charge, you're probably gonna be keeping your medigun out in case you need to pop it, making the...
Yeah, except for when the guy you're healing dies and you're like, shit, I don't wanna die too. And then you pop this out and you run away and you live.
Overdose's speed boost completely null. I removed this whole Uber charge percentage thing and just gave it a flat 15% speed boost and 20% jump height bonus while equipped, which
like, I added the jump height bonus in Man Machine as kind of like a joke, because it's like funny, haha. I would never, ever put this in the real game. Medics are hard to kill enough. Do you know how well you can surf rockets with this rocket, the height? You basically, I think you like triple the medic's effective health against explosive classes here.
Kinda fits with the name because it's like the medic is taking drugs. The Blutsauger gets a simple change. Killing enemies makes them drop a small health pack in addition to its normal stats. Buffed.
Why? It already heals. And you as a medic heal too. Wouldn't it make more sense to just increase the healing you do or something that's not this? Because you already put this on the family business. I mean, why does this have it too?
Which leads pretty naturally into the next change, the Vitasaw. Let's just be real, this thing is so stupid. You can hit an enemy to preserve 15% of your Uber charge on death, but why would you do that if you could just equip the Uber Saw and get a 25% boost in your Uber immediately?
Yeah, and also he totally, well, doesn't really, he's not me, so he doesn't know things, but as a medic, I mentioned you want to heal, you want to build Uber, and you want to survive. With the Vitasaw, your plan is to essentially die at some point. Which means that if you are an excellent medic and you never die, it does nothing for you. It's also a weapon that helps you die because you have less health, right? So it's like fucking bonkers that this weapon exists in the form that it does.
It's encouraging the medic to make risky melee plays, but instead of rewarding him with extra survivability like the Uber Saw does, it just makes dying a little bit less punishing. But you're way less likely to die in the first place if you just stay back with your medigun instead of running in with the Vitasaw. It's totally counterintuitive, so I'm changing it completely. It gets a minus 20%.
It was counterintuitive, but well, this is counterproductive. Because it's kind of counterintuitive. It's like, I want to live, but let me rush forward and die. I'd say that's kind of counterintuitive. Like, as a medic, you want to live, so why would you use a weapon that helps you die?
% firing speed, just like with the Uber Saw, but instead of gaining Uber on hit, you gain health on kill. A good bit of health too, a whopping 100. And it can overheal you too, like the old kunai. in combination with the Blutsauger, I think we'll finally have a truly interesting Battle Medic subclass. But I don't think that...
You don't want that. You do not want that. You want medics to have Uber and push with Ubers, because that is the economy of the game. If you give medics ways to not heal and not build Uber, you're going to have a lot of medics that don't do anything, and you're going to lose. And it's going to feel bad because the medics aren't healing. So that's not great.
That will be the Vitasaw's only purpose. In combination with the Overdose, you could run in quick, nab some overheal off a weak target, and switch back to the Overdose to get the heck up on out of there. The same maneuver that you might do with the Ubersaw, but for a very different result. Buffed. And so that's pretty much it. I tried fixing some of TF2's crappiest items. And I know you...
Yeah, good emphasis on tried. So far, yeah. I mean, there's some interesting changes. There's some changes that are identical to what we have. But then there's also some changes that are just kind of like off the wall. I mean, we should allow this for early, like version 1.1 when people are just having fun, right? I remember we made like the rocket jumper, like slow rocket jump, or like have really slow rockets, but like really large range. It was like the inverse of like the direct hit. But as we gained more experience and did more testing, we found out that like the more you can keep the weapons working like they do in vanilla TF2, the better an experience players will have. Which is why I think the balance mod that I made is the best one, because it plays like TF2 and it follows all of TF2's like class integrity and all that kind of stuff, right? So yeah. Interesting takes. Hopefully this mod of his takes off and he gains some traction for it, because I definitely think it's good to see like others make ideas and we can all like learn from each other and steal ideas and give credit for when we steal. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, if you watched all the way to the end. And should we try and unite the balance mods maybe? Should I not cut my hair or beard? Should I not cut my beard until all of balance mod TF2 is united? Because there's a lot of ideas to be combined here. And everybody knows something you don't, so there might be good ideas floating around somewhere. But yeah, having been in the balance game since early 2015 and having reviewed demos on TF2 since 2011 and having played since Team Fortress Classic, some of these changes are, I would say, fine. Some of them don't really do anything, and others are just like off the wall crazy, and some of them don't matter, right? As for balance mods, I'm thinking of like looking into Fish on a Sticks mod, because I think it's like the biggest, I would like, rival that we have. I played on it a little bit, and I think like the sniper change you made there is kind of interesting, but I don't think it matters in the grand scheme of things. And there's like in this mod, there's a lot of things that don't matter. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Be sure to join the Discord for when we play balance mod and when we play Man Machines. We're primarily focused in Europe, but we do have Singapore and US based servers. And hopefully Mastercom's quick play system takes off. If you haven't checked that out, link in the description as well. See you guys next time.